All right, so we worked on this one thing kind of without looking at everything else, and so I'm going to go Control Alt 0. Oh, where's that? 0. And zoom out, and so you can see that these guys are working, but now suddenly all the rest of the we'd have to do a bunch of layer moving around and all that kind of stuff to get everything to work, right? These are working. This one's working in particular because we split that one line, but there are these are all on white now. And so there are some things that you would have to go around and like fix, right? So these guys would have to be maybe put on that dashed RCP above 2, like if you had that is on the medium grids. Guides, maybe you'd have to make another guides one as well, right? In order to have that guy read correctly. Um, but let's go ahead and let's turn off, let's make this a little bigger. Let's turn off the extra light layer, which is really no longer extra light, it's actually black. And then if you wanted to fill all of these guys with black, it's the cut layer, right? So that outline. And so if you come and select that cut layer, you could actually fill all of those with black, right? And now all those are filled with black. And then you're dealing with the cut layer, fill, and the line on the same layer, which is fine. Um, and then you would need to put the cut layer below all of the dashed lines because it's on the top, right? So maybe what you want to do instead of that is create a copy of that layer. So hold down my Alt key and drag this kind of down below the dashed RCP above, and it's a copy. And so now I have two of those, and if I come in to this copy here and flip these, right now it's below the dashed lines. And so you can have the cut on top still over the top of everything else, and then have this guy down at the bottom, right? So maybe make this cut fill, make this 00, so you know what it is, right? Um, it does take a lot of work to go in there and work on that line weight, so I would give careful consideration to that and see how it goes. Um, Try some experimentation. We want to keep you guys pretty consistent with the colors. It's being black and white, but experiment with the line weight and experiment with the line types and the dashing and all of that until you get to a point where you feel comfortable. My recommendation would be to work on one of them and get it kind of right, and then um, move on and apply that to the others. So not bringing them all up at the same time, but really getting one right and understanding what you want, and then moving on to the others. Let's go ahead and push this back. The last thing I wanted to talk about was the artboards. So the artboards come in as like 1, 2, 3, 4, and so what you could do is you could actually come in and rename these, right? So you could rename this as, if you had that open and then had this would be V1 V1 maybe, right? And then go through and rename them so you knew which ones they were. Maybe have them open in the Rhino file next to you and making sure that you're getting 1 V2, right? So you can then arrange them easier, or probably it should be V11, right? So V1 V11, and then V12, and then V1, V1, 3, right? And on down the line until you get it. So, so you can look at these. So V11, V12, V13, V14, V15, and then it starts over with V21, V22, right? So you could kind of have this open, whoops, have this open on the side. I'll just pull it onto my other screen there. Let's make this guy big again. And then, this was V13, right? And then V14, and then once you get to here, it would go to V21, V2. However you want to do it. So that way, when we get to InDesign, you'll know where they go. You know. So and that'll be the next thing. We'll export all of these for InDesign.